Welcome to ASEAN BIZ, your only choice for business updates covering ASEAN countries. I'm Andrew Chia.
And I'm Eric Chong.
And together we bring you business news on everything that happens around the world that involves ASEAN countries.
In this brand new edition, we bring you 4 segments. The current business update, our durian main story, funny business moments, and health is wealth.
Today we have 2 wonderful guests with us here at the studio in Malaysia. This great couple are the entrepreneurs who started the dessert franchise called Snowflake. It's really catching on over here, and we would like to extend our warm welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy and Sooky, and we will be listening to their story shortly on our Durian Main show today.
So let us start off with our current business update. Our focus today is on GST and how it's affecting business in Malaysia and ASEAN. Our guests are welcome to join and chip in their input on the topic.
Eric, GST has started since April, right?
Yes.
What's the rate?
At 6%.
Right now, is it still 6%?
It's still 6%. And compared to 3% to Singapore when they first started.
Yeah. How do you feel about GST so far, Eric?
Good or bad?
Good and bad.
Good and bad.
You gotta make up your mind, yo.
Okay.
It's either good or bad. Is it good for you?
As a consumer, it's not much of a difference because beside the GST 6%, we've been paying service tax. We've been paying government tax. It's also the same thing. But the things is it caused a big of issues for those so-called small businesses, small retails, and also those elderly people who are still in the retailing business. They have problems handling the administrations of the GST. And some even choose to close down their shops because of GST.
Great. How about Jimmy and Sooky? So far, what's your comments from your customers? Are they happy with your GST since it replaced the previous tax? Or are they not so happy?
Because of our secret recipe, they
don't mind paying.
It's not really affected by GST.
It's only a small percentage, right?
And also, actually, we actually charged service tax, government sales tax, 6% before GST.
Yes. So now it's just a different terminology.
It's just being replaced with another name.
Different term only.
Yeah. But in general market sentiment is not so. It's a bit down.
Right. Yes. We not very happy with the GST.
Yes.
Most people.
Yes.
So what was the main argument for implementing GST? Let's go back a little bit to before April. Eric, can you remember? Before that, everybody was panicking, right?
Yeah.
And they have to go to study GST, go for seminars, pay a few $1,000s, some even more than $10,000, right?
Yes, and I felt that the main argument for GST is that it's a fairer tax system.
It's very fair.
It's considered.
Tax everybody.
And that's difficult to evade compared with a normal income tax. It also replaces the earlier tax of 10% used by many businesses, such as restaurants. And then with the
other argument is that
with the extra revenue collected, the government can channel these funds to various projects, such as helping and developing the poorer sectors of society to eradicate poverty.
Yeah, so you're supposed to be richer, especially the poor folks at the kampongs, right?
Yes, and we can actually see that a lot of developed countries implemented GST gainfully to the societies.
Right. In fact, a lot of countries have GST more than 20%.
Yeah, and
but they started off slowly, right?
Yes, gradually. They started off gradually, and maybe Jimmy, since you are from Taiwan, maybe you can just give us a picture of how the GST works in Taiwan.
In Taiwan, we call it value added
tax, right?
VAT,
which is roughly similar to GST.
Yeah, correct.
Yes,
and it happens long time ago, so I couldn't remember any impact. But while I was studying in Australia, that was the time when GST was implemented.
How many years ago was that, Jimmy? Can
I
you
think
remember?
about 10 years.
More than 10 years.
Yeah, so, and then I think about 6 months after implementation, the market was also
quite bad.
a bit jerky and a bit rocky.
People not used to it yet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So now 10 years later, everybody is used to it.
Yes. So what's the current rate now in Taiwan? Any idea?
Rate.
Yeah.
If not mistaken, it's also around 5 to 6.
Around 5 to 6%
in Taiwan after so long.
Yeah, I don't think they have amended any rates.
Okay. So coming back to Malaysia, today is 6 months on. Let's see what's the feedback from businessmen and the men on the street and how it affected business in Malaysia and its effect on other countries in ASEAN. Eric, what's the feedback you received so far talking to the uncle, auntie, coffee shop?
As I mentioned earlier part, the main feedback from the men on the streets is that they felt that they are puzzling where does the money channels to. This is the first question. And then the second question is that they felt that the administrations of the GST is very tedious. And some opt to just close shops and forget about their businesses, especially those, as I said, the provisional shops, the medical hall, the Chinese medical hall. These are the shops that mostly runs by elderly people who can't even maneuver a mouse, and you want them to maneuver a POS system.
Yeah, I can still remember at that time a lot of people panic, right?
Yes,
because one of the reasons is that for many years they have not been paying their taxes for their profits. For example, they have sales of say 1 million, they declare maybe 500,000 or less than that.
Yes.
So suddenly if you implement GST, your sales figure you cannot cheat or run away.
Yep.
So they are worried that the government might
backtrack their
and ask them to pay the previous tax. So they get so worried that they go and hang themselves.
Some even just went into depressions. And I have few contractors friends who I would say affected in the sense in their cash flow, because for the GST to be refunded to them takes quite a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, since it's implemented in April until now, there's still have not get back their refund from the first.
Yes, Eric, I do have a customer who is waiting for his refund of 400,000 ringgit for more than 3 months already.
And they have to pay it within 30 days, their GST. And can you just imagine a contractor who submitted claims of, let's say, 100,000, they straight away have to pay 60,000 cash to the government.
Oh, there's 6,000 only. If 1 million is 60,000.
1 million, yeah. Okay, 1 million. Let's for a contractor to submit a 1 million claim
is quite common.
It's very common. So 60,000 cash flow affected, and that's for 1 month.
So
imagine
you can borrow the bank loan or overdraft to pay the GST first, right?
Yes, but who is going to reimburse back on the bank interest and the financial costs? These are the major headaches.
But it's much cheaper than borrowing from Along, right?
I mean, eventually, if the cash flow affected, they will go through Along already.
Okay. So what happened was they paid the tax. I got this customer who particularly, he paid 400,000 ringgit. I don't know what's the sales like lah.
Okay.
So it's definitely more than a million, maybe few million.
Okay.
So he's waiting for more than 3 months and he couldn't get back his refund. Even though the government has approved that refund for him already.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, because during these 6 months, I would say even the government agencies has problems to streamline their administrations, first place.
Right.
And then most of the people actually have a so-called cash flow problem to pay off also.
Right.
You know, we can't speak for the government.
Because like Jimmy mentioned just now, when you implement VAT or GST, initially for the first few months, there'll be a big reaction. For example, one of my customers told me that immediately after 1st April, his sales dropped by 40%. That's very drastic.
That's very drastic. And some even just put the whole business on hold. So
it sort of started a chain reaction whereby after a few months the business was bad and we have currency problems. Yes. And the currency problems, one of the factors could be the weak economy caused by GST, right?
In a way. So maybe Jimmy or Sooky, how does this actually affect your business? I mean, you are in the retail chains.
So far, is there any sales drop of 5% or 2%?
The most obvious indicator is when we found it when we compare this year's June sales
year on year,
last year's June
sales.
So June is actually the highest month
I see
in business volume compare throughout the rest 12 months. So this year, our July sales was a little bit higher than June.
Okay.
That is abnormal.
That's abnormal.
Since we started 7 years ago.
Okay.
So June sales, people are not willing to spend as much as they used to.
So can you think of any reason why it's abnormal? Is it because people are so stressed with the bad business, they must go to eat
something sweet to calm them down?
So you have an increase in sales. Is that the reason?
Actually, we are not a destination when we are in a shopping mall.
Right.
The dessert concept.
Yeah, usually people go to buy their clothing and things stuff.
If the overall shopping crowd in the shopping mall is reduced, then we are tag along.
Yes.
But your sales increased.
So sales didn't probably do as much as last year, June.
Probably this year July, because of the Hari Raya is in July.
It's delayed.
So there could be a delay in the spendings. So the crowd is there,
and hard to predict this year.
It's quite hard to predict because looking at there's so many economic situations around ASEAN regions and even around the world. So I believe the tourists also have dropped in a way. So this will actually affect retail businesses in the shopping mall.
Some of the haze.
Right, okay. Right.
Yesterday already the figure come out. Tourists drop by a big percentage.
Big chunks of it. Yes.
But it's safer to hide inside the aircon place like a shopping mall. But while traveling there, people already got a lot of haze in their lungs.
It's just that they don't go aboard the plane to come here. That's the whole problem. In the first place, they are not on the plane. Right. So there's another case study like the customer who paid GST for April and May only. June onwards is all to claim back.
I have a lot of customers who paid GST for the first 1-2 months, and then after that they have to claim back because they registered the sales drop, right?
Yes.
So you got to pay claim back your GST.
Right. So not sure whether did you get your GST refund back on time or what?
For our case, basically we are actually paying. The net. Yeah, we are not claiming anything.
Oh, okay. So you selected the option of contra.
No, we don't need to contra.
It's a net of things. Okay, right. So because their trade is different.
Fortunately, we don't have that issue because I also heard my suppliers have been having the same issues that mentioned by you guys just now.
Yes. Right.
So it's a difficult time. It's very, very difficult time.
Yeah. So like you are lucky. You don't have that problem.
I need to consider myself lucky in terms of the
no headache.
And in fact, like yesterday, I just have a lunch with one of my friends who's importing goods to distribute. So he actually faced the problem of claiming back the refund as well because he's not the net off thing because he's not doing retail. So in this way, he actually cash flow will be affected. So
when you have cash flow affected, you have to go to the bank.
You have to go to the bank
get some loan
to get some loans. It's beyond your so-called cash flow budgeting. You won't know when the government is going to pay you back. This is actually true for a lot of businesses who are doing distributions. Same thing like your suppliers. Your supplier will be getting goods from other parties and sell it to you. So he does not enjoy the net of things like you are enjoying.
So Eric, I was talking to a banker yesterday from a foreign bank. He's a manager of the branch. So he was telling me that a lot of people right now need loans and they approach the banks. But his bank is getting more and more conservative and paranoid. So much so that even the loans are fully secured with property. His bank cannot approve it because they keep asking and evaluate and re-evaluate the loan proposal, trying to forecast within the 6 months to 1 year whether the customer's business is going to improve or expand and things like that. So ended up his loan cannot get approved. So I think GST has really affected the economy indirectly in many ways.
Indirectly, the GST affected, and as well as the current currency dilemma that Malaysia is facing.
Yeah, it's sort of related.
So it's called related. Let's say if you are a developer, you will be importing quite a number of building materials from overseas. So your cost could be escalated. Right. So sometimes the amount of loan that you borrow from the bank might not be sufficient to cover the currency difference.
Yeah, that's why a lot of developers right now are suspending their projects, right? And waiting for better times.
So only those with good cash flow will actually survive. And those with good cash flow will not want to go into the market at this moment. They will be holding on to their projects.
Great. So what is going to happen to ASEAN when they look at Malaysia having problems arising from GST, right?
Yes. So because of the adverse effect of the GST, coupled with serious currency depreciations, members countries in ASEAN are also worried about doing business with Malaysia, especially in ringgit. So in this way, our Malaysian businessmen who are importing goods will also be affected. It's double affected. And right now, a lot of people are on survival mode in Malaysia, and everyone is also on the wait and see mode till the next
that doesn't
till the
sound
year ends.
Very positive, right?
So in this way, I would say retail business will be affected, construction industry will be affected.
Yeah, it's a hazy situation.
It's
right
a hazy situation. We are facing with a lot of haze, so the whole thing is very blur.
So we gotta stay positive to move ahead and not to expand too fast.
And right now we will take a short break now, and we'll be back with our main story for today. Stay tuned, guys. Don't go away.
Welcome back. You're listening to ASEAN BIZ, and our Durian main story today is Snowflake. But before we bring you our main story, Eric is going to share with you his funny business moment. And the title of his story today is When Can I Do It?
Right. Thanks, Andrew. Welcome back. We have our guest waiting here. But before that, let's start with a lighter moment. This guy was in the court. Then the judge said, Frank Smith announced the judge, for breaking into a house in the middle of the night, I sentence you for 2 years imprisoned. But Your Honor, pleaded Smith, last time I was in court, you sentenced me to 1 year in jail for breaking into a house in the middle of the day. Now if I'm not supposed to break in the middle of the night, and also not in the middle of the day, just when am I supposed to break in? I need to work. I need to find a living.
That's a good question, right? How is the judge going to answer that?
Okay, you don't allow me to break in.
It's very unfair, yeah. This guy, he can't break in the night, and he can't break in the day. Great. Yeah, thanks, Eric, for that funny business moment. It's really a bit funny. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to ASEAN BIZ, your only choice for business updates covering ASEAN countries. I'm your host, Andrew Chia, and together with me is Eric Chong, the jokist.
Okay,
and we bring you business news on everything that happens around the world, which involves ASEAN countries.
The title of our Durian main story today is Snowflake. And in case for our listeners, a bit of a background on Snowflake. Snowflake is actually a dessert chain. They have quite a number of outlets within KL regions in the shopping malls. And they have been in the market for almost like 7 years. And it's quite popular, and the product is very unique. If have a Taiwanese flavor to it, or I would rather say it's 100% Taiwanese flavor. And in front of me is the husband and wife team. We have Jimmy and Sooky. So, Jimmy and Sooky, the sweet couple. Is
hi,
always
everyone.
Sweet. Right.
Hello.
Say hi to our listeners.
Hi, Jimmy.
Right.
So, Jimmy and Sooky, when you came into the business, what makes your business or products different, and what is your main selling point or your USP?
Okay.
Jimmy, you can take a take on that one.
Yeah. When my friends come to my dessert outlet, Snowflake, after they enjoy the dessert, I always ask them about their feedback. So they tell me, well, it just tastes nice. It just tastes nice. The balance is good. So actually, it's the secret of this delicious dessert is about our philosophy of making the dessert. The philosophy is our snow philosophy.
Snow philosophy. Okay.
S-N-O-W.
Okay, so maybe you can just highlight
Malaysia
to our
needs snow because it's a hot country.
hot country. So maybe you can just highlight to our listeners what's the text means.
Okay. Snow, S-N-O-W, stands for simple, natural, original, and wholesome.
Wow.
Okay. This guides us to make the right decision to create the most delicious dessert.
When was it created, Jimmy? When was it started?
7 years ago. So let me elaborate a little bit about Snow.
Right.
Okay, philosophy. We think that we want to make the dessert in the simplest way. So for example, our signature topping, the taro balls, we simply use taro, the yam, the sugar, and the flour, and cook it fresh.
Very simple ingredients.
Texture, to serve to the customer. And we only choose to use the natural ingredients and without any coloring, preservative, and artificial flavoring. And other than that, we want to have our own style. So for example, our grass jelly signature bestseller, we keep the grass jelly leaf for 24 months, just like how those whiskey are aged. So we use aged leaf to bring out the true aroma of the grass jelly and blend it into ice and to form the very nice natural texture. And when it combines with our taro balls, it becomes a very nice dessert when we call it the bestseller.
So which means you got to keep on stocking up of your
so
grass
this
jelly.
is just a few ideas that we want to make it our own style.
Yes, that's true.
And when we make our dessert, we need to know that our family might want to have it very often.
Yes,
So we ourselves also want to enjoy it. So we want to make it right at the first place. That's why when customer come to Snowflake, you can have peace of mind because there is nothing that is not real in our dessert.
Yes,
that
and
is the secret
to
of
put it
our
simply, I'm also a great fan of your products. I'm not sure about Andrew. Andrew also have a very sweet tooth.
From what Jimmy mentioned just now, it sounds very yummy already.
Okay.
Thank you, Eric and Andrew, for your support.
And in fact, I double up as a mystery shoppers for Jimmy. Okay. So if the outlets manager are listening to, but they can't see my face, they won't know who's Eric. So who actually coined out the recipes? I believe that you are a husband and wife team. So who actually comes up with the recipes and doing the R&D of your products? Maybe
you can guess who is better at cooking, right?
I think it's Sooky. She's been keeping quiet and smiling.
People have the secret; they always keep quiet. Is it?
Okay. Sooky is actually in charge of the recipe. She is the director of product development.
Okay.
So there is no perfect recipe.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what we tell ourselves.
Yes.
We actually always need to stumble and ask ourselves, how can we be better? Can we keep the leaf for 5 years?
Improve it,
and become a blue label? I don't know. So we keep questioning ourselves. How can we make it more delicious? Our friend also get frustrated. Jimmy, why every time you ask me the same question? I don't know. It's nice, but we don't take it as a final answer. We keep finding out how to be better.
Yes.
So recipe, there's no perfect recipe. The same recipe might not work tomorrow because natural crops, they might be affected by the climate. So this batch of mango is sweet and nice, good texture, but the next batch 3 months later might be different, and we have to find the right balance again.
Right. So like Jimmy and Sooky, do you source your ingredients locally through the farmers direct?
Okay, all the while we are trying to do that because we also think that we would like to do something that leave the least carbon footprint. Yeah, so for sure for all these crops like mango, yes, we try to use the local mangoes. The one that we are using is actually Chukanan, and then we try to source from all the traders because sometimes we don't have the choice. It's like especially during the off peak. we need to source wherever is available. So it's very normal for us to go to the markets, every markets, and then try to source whatever we think is a good quality. So we have been giving ourselves a very hard time in terms of QC.
Right.
Yeah.
So in this case, would it be just a crazy thought? Maybe is your volume sufficient enough to actually contract an orchard to actually specially do it for you?
Actually, we have also kind of explored that ideas. So to us, this is actually very, very good idea that eventually is like from farm to table concept.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think you pointed out some really crucial things to consider. Yeah. First thing is the volume, definitely. And then I believe the right team, the right people is also very important, because this is not like something overnight. You need to really have a plan, have the right talent, you have the knowledge to really to get to what you want.
In other words, you would need a farmer in your team.
Or maybe I need to start with myself as a farmer. So that, to make sure that, things are going to be right. Because if at the end it's going to be the other person who's going to do this, then I'm not sure whether I can get the kind of quality that we want.
Just a little bit of background for our cute couples here. They are very outdoor people. Okay, so for Sooky and Jimmy to go back to farming might not be too difficult for them.
I bet, I think you're right.
Always at one with nature, right? Running around the hills, tracking the jungles.
Sorry, I got to put that in. So highlight a bit. And listeners, don't have this idea that two of them are elderly. They are quite young. So youngsters out there, you always have the opportunity to go into business, and you just need to be a bit of innovations and creative with your ideas, and get on the right footing. That's all, And then right, what were you doing before you started this business, Jimmy?
Okay, back 10 years ago, Sooky and I both are working in Taiwan.
Right.
We were helping our family business. But once in a while, we have to come back here to see our families in Malaysia here. So we both love Taiwanese dessert, and they make us happy on our routine days. So every time we come back, we miss the Taiwanese dessert. We thought, hey, how come there is no such concept here? So this idea is planted into our mind and grow over time until few years later, 7 years ago, we decide that this might be a good opportunity. We can do it here. Let's try out. Consider we have the right resources and the talent. Right. That's how we started.
So Jimmy, what kind of obstacles did you encounter when you started your business and became an entrepreneur?
Okay, I would say obstacles are there every day. So there are 3 obstacles you have to overcome when you started your business. I think for retail, for service industry, you have to find the right location
that's
for your
very
shop.
Important. Yes.
Right, and you have to have the right quality of product. Right quality means you have to have the right recipe, and you have to have the right texture and the taste every day, so customer gets the same experience.
Consistency in your products.
Yes,
that's very important, especially in the food industry, F&B industries. And we actually see that, especially when you are running a chain store, consistency in product is very crucial. And we being consumers, we actually patronize quite a number of our chain stores, and we found that quite a number of them does not pay attention like you all to their quality. And different outlet, you get different consistency in their products, and you found that it's very upsetting, because you are paying the same dollar in a different outlets and you are getting different thing. So your so-called the psychology of going to that particular chain again will be dropped and will be destroyed. So in this way, your philosophy is very good to carry on the business, right? And May I know where's your first outlet when you first in KL?
Our first outlet was in SS15, Subang Jaya, SS15.
Wow.
Right.
Fantastic happening place with a lot of colleges and universities, right?
Correct. Our third partner, Keith, he was in charge of marketing. So position your first outlet is very important. He's very familiar with KL, so he brought us around to a few locations, and we didn't know much about customer demographic. So we are actually just going places and we share our gut feelings, and we try to address each other's concern that boil down to SS15.
Okay.
And we make a very bold move to open our first retail shop at first floor where nobody can see.
Right. That's a very innovative idea.
Yeah. Because rental in SS15 is quite a bit.
So there are pros and cons. You have plan B. You don't need to afford so much OPEX in the beginning.
Right.
But the downside is it's hard to get your awareness out.
Awareness is out, and Malaysian cultures are very funny. Anything above the ground floor, they won't go. Lazy to go. And it's surprising to see that a lot of Korean restaurants did that. They open their shops upstairs on the first floor.
Doing good business.
Yeah. So Jimmy and Sooky, do you think that helping out with your family business where you're in Taiwan actually helps you in the industries or not?
Yeah. Well, I learned a lot from my father. He learned from how he make decisions, because problems are always there. But how do you have, what kind of mentality and how positive you look at the things determines your result.
Great, Jimmy. One last question before we go for a short break. Now 7 years on today, how many outlets do you have now?
We have 6.
6 outlets.
Yeah.
Great. Eric.
Right. We will take a short break and we'll be back with our story shortly. Stay tuned, guys, and don't go away.
Welcome back. You're listening to ASEAN BIZ, and our durian main story today is Snowflake. But before we continue with the concluding part of our story today, let's take a short break to get a health tip from Eric Chong, our health and fitness coach. Eric is a 100 km marathoner himself, and his health tip story for today is, can I trust health tips?
Well, okay. This particular questions is always on our mind. Can I trust the nutrition information I get from newspapers and magazines?
Yes.
Right?
Are they really good? Or are they trying to sell you something?
So we've seen a lot of advertisement that keeps telling that our product is good, our product is healthy. So nutrition tips and diets from different sources often conflict with each other. You should always check with your doctor first. Also, keep in mind this advice. There is no magic bullet when it comes to nutrition. Short-term diets may help you lose weight, but they are hard to keep up and may even be unhealthy in the long run. Good nutrition doesn't come in the vitamin pills. Only take your vitamins with your doctor's recommendations, as your body benefits the most from healthy eating, whole foods. Eating a variety of food is the best for your body to try new foods. Stories from people who have used a diet program or products, especially in commercials and informations and advertisements. These people are usually paid to endorse what the advertiser is selling. Remember, regain weight or weight rebound and other problems that develop after someone has completed this program are never talked about in those ads. Those ads will only advertise how much they have lost weight, but they didn't talk about whether they rebound. And I've seen quite a lot. I would say 9 out of 10 actually rebound. So it's because why?
Are you talking about me, Eric? I rebounded many times,
Well, I don't want to put it specifically.
But I actually never took any of those, whatever they advertise. I rebounded myself. Is it okay?
It's fine. As long as you know what you are doing. And I believe that we should take more snowflakes. Because they've been saying that it's healthy, wholesome food.
You can have it every day.
Sure.
Does it prevent a rebound?
But you got to do exercise. You have to combine with Eric's training.
Okay. Exercise plus snowflake.
Exercise plus snowflake. Snowflakes will give you the energy boost. Then you exercise again. You spend the energy.
Yeah, come and join our night run, huh?
Yes, yeah, sure, definitely.
Night run plus snowflake.
Yeah.
Guaranteed no rebound.
Okay, right. So we comes back to our second part of the durian main story. And we continue with our talk with Jimmy and Sooky, the owner of Snowflakes, right? So, Jimmy, we've been talking about your background and your products. So, what are the future that you have in place for your company?
Our main direction now is to grow our business within the business.
Right, which is, maybe you can elaborate a bit on that.
Right. So we are offering our desserts right now, and we hope we can bring some Taiwanese delight to offer more choice. So that will come to expansion of our menu. So deciding what not to do is as important as what to do next.
Yes.
Alright. So we have to make space for different kind of food and beverage. So eventually we want to transform Snowflake into a meetup place where your friends want to spend time there with themselves or with their family and friend to hang out there. Alright.
Well,
so that requires a lot of thoughts and development in every aspect of the brand to deliver a new experience, new Snowflake experience to the customer. So this is what we are constantly working on behind the scene. At the same time, we still have to introduce new, exciting, tasty desserts.
yes, and I particularly like your Musang King dessert, which happens only once a year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our team is very creative and they knows how to find some local, seasonal, special,
And
exotic.
do you own these credits to Sooky?
Yes, definitely. She is the mastermind to get the recipe.
I don't
right.
mind to be your QC.
Credits all goes to our product and development
Every time you
team.
come,
Yeah.
take a picture, send to me through WhatsApp to get a free pass.
Okay, right. Okay, listeners, you heard that from Jimmy.
Yeah.
Or it's
The
only
boss says so.
or it's only open to Andrew and myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a selfie and send to us.
The pass will end with the 10 pages of survey form.
And you
Which will
must,
take you only half an hour.
and if you need to fill it in triplicates.
One question, Jimmy. You are saying that you want to convert or rather upgrade Snowflake into a new experience for people to say meet up and have fun together. So would it actually mean that you are repositioning Snowflake from being a dessert shop into a meetup place, like what Starbucks is doing is a experience shop, it's not a coffee shop? Is that similar to your idea, or you have something different in mind?
Sort of. Something like what you mentioned, and to be more specific is that we want to offer an oriental choice when you want to go to places to hang out, and Snowflake has always been a place to go between your meals. So we will continue to stay that way, but with more choices. So this is something new that I hope in the near future I can make it happen. That is my dream.
Yeah, that's a pretty big dream and quite a so-called heavy dream in a way, because you've got to couple with main dishes.
Yeah,
and
that's a little bit of tricky part, you know.
It's tricky part in terms of utensils, first thing, and in terms of product technicality.
But when we remind ourselves, we started with nothing,
right?
And we come up with everything that we have today.
Yes.
That makes us confident
right,
to realize our future dream.
That would be a very good move. That I believe that you will have everything on paper, to actually move your dreams, which is very good. I mean, for young people to have dreams. I wish we have dreams during our young days. We only have dream killers in our young days.
Right, yeah. The important thing of a business is your sort of a perception in the customer's mind. For example, they perceive you all along as a dessert shop. Of course, they meet up. Eric and I always go to Snowflake because we want to meet up, and there's nothing else nearby there. There's no Coffee Bean, there's no Old Town, so we meet up at the Snowflake. Okay, so the danger, if I may say so, is that your customers might not perceive what you want to do in changing the perception from a dessert shop to a meetup place. It's important for you to let your customers know that this is what you want to do. Otherwise, there's a danger of landing up. I remember a dessert shop, a very, very established dessert shop for the past 50 years. It's called Swenson's. When they upgraded all their menu, they closed shop. Even their main outlet, flagship outlet,
Earthquake.
Sungai Wang.
I remember Earthquake, their main product.
They added more items to their menu, so much so it became like a restaurant with every item that you can think of. Yep. So in that case, it's like more is less.
Well, I think how to realize these concerns, the real concerns from customer before you actually dump in your investment, is you do some trial run, you host some small sensory event, and you introduce to them,
and ask them to fill up to 10 pages sensor form,
the new PR form,
maybe shorter.
Nine pages. Okay.
Our Snowflake fans knows better. While on and off, when there are new dessert come out, they always need to fill up a feedback form.
Yes.
Okay, we have done it before we launch, but we want to know more after that. So I guess this is nothing new to our customer.
Yes.
But we this is how we hear from customers voice and do it right.
Yes.
And I believe that going to your outlets have a very unique experience in the sense of waiting for your products, right? You have this thing called a UFO. I believe that you are the first one to introduce this system, and recently I found it in one of the food court in Sunway Pyramid. So far beside your Snowflake, the second one is the Sunway Pyramid food court. So your system is very unique in the sense that first thing is attractive. The customer who are waiting, they don't feel that they have been waited too long, and it's actually give them a sense of so-called security that their orders are actually in place.
That is actually very important.
That's very important.
We show respect to the customers. We take care of their concerns.
You see, at times when while we are waiting for our products, we are not sure that our order is in place. We just wait there blindly, then the waiter will just come back. Oh, sorry, I'm conveniently forgotten about your product.
That's very bad.
Which is very bad. So I believe you started off very well with this system, and hopefully this system will really carry on, and it catches the popularity of the people.
Well, again, we ask ourselves, is there another kind of service experience that is better and can replace the pager system?
Yeah.
We also ask
I believe with your innovative mentality, there will be a way.
Yeah.
And technology is improving. So I believe there's always a way for improving and innovations.
Exactly.
Right.
So we all look forward to an upgraded version of Snowflake.
Yes. So instead of we using the UFO, probably we use the Enterprise. Okay. Right. So and then what do you expect from your business to do for you personally instead of business? What's that actually jogs your mind, stimulate your mind,
or the passion,
or your passions?
Yeah. When you get compliments from your close friend, you that feel happy. You feel what you do is meaningful. So when I want to shape our Snowflake's future, we want to imagine, can we impress our friends even more? And do I want to bring my friends there and to have a great chit-chat section at Snowflake?
So in a way, to simply put it, you should. Do you feel proud while bringing your friends to your outlet? That's a very important thing. You see, there are some people who owns F&B outlets, but they don't feel proud to bring their friends to their own F&B outlets. There are some people who operate that way. So I believe that in your case, you feel very proud to bring your friends to your F&B outlets. So in this way, that's the sense of achievements, a sense of high for you. You know, so, but in terms of personal development, what do you see for yourself in this business?
Personal development, I think we want to be calmer and to work with a team, to have a better teamwork, because throughout the years you learn how to make the decision right. So you want to be a better leader, and also you want to see those people who work with you can achieve better goals in their life while working at Snowflake.
Right. So we have time for one more crucial question for Jimmy and Sooky before we end the shows. Your particular Snowflake change, do you see that you can carry your products and your business model to other countries,
especially in
Malaysia,
ASEAN?
Especially in ASEAN? Would you like to take your philosophy or business to other countries to instill a sense of a good business ethics and good business practice in other countries?
Okay. After 7 years in this F&B industry, we think we are still new. That's why there are many things, many priorities we have to deal with right now, and we have to deal with them one at a time. So we don't have a specific timeline when and where we have to venture into in the near future. So those priorities are what I mentioned, to bring Snowflake with more Taiwanese delight, and for example, Din Tai Fung. Din Tai Fung is one of my favorite brand.
Okay.
They have only one store for the first 40 years. And then their second store is in Japan.
Right.
Okay. So what's the hurry? Any day is a good day.
Right.
Any time is a good time.
Right.
So that's my answer.
And they are actually voted one of the best chain in the world by CNN. Yeah.
Wow. So yours will be the second one?
Very nice shop.
Oh,
yes.
So they are actually, this brand is actually what I think we learned a lot. We read the books and then also try to understand the philosophy of the owner, and then we are truly amazed, and then we would like to learn from them, because we really know that everything is one step at a time. There's no shortcut. So that a lot of mistakes that we have made in the past 7 years, and then so we want to make sure that we don't repeat them.
So it's the same applies to health and fitness.
Oh.
There's no shortcuts. There's no magical pills.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. And we take it that we go into the close of the show, and we take it to summarize that what Jimmy and Sooky here practices is actually, in business, there's no shortcut. Stay true to your products, be passionate about your products and your business, and the lastly is be innovative and be patient. Your time will come. Right?
Any final advice for our listeners who want to become entrepreneurs in ASEAN? Jimmy and Sooky, your favorite piece of advice? Go for it, or like Nike said, just do it.
I think you have to keep this in mind. You have to always tell yourself to focus on what matters to your customer. So you have to know who your customer is, and you have to focus on what can you do something that matters to them. Okay, so for example, open 100 stores does not matter to your customer who visit Kuchai Lama store once a week. Right?
It doesn't matter to them.
It doesn't matter to them. So that's just one example.
So, Sooky?
You mean the advice to whoever who want to venture into business?
Make sure your product is the best.
First piece of advice is to think twice. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very important thing. You must think twice.
Or you need two person to think together.
Yes, because there's just too many challenges that that's not possible for us to share here. And then I think Eric and Andrew has a lot to share as well on this. So it's not easy, but I'm actually, I think, very lucky. Like I can say today that it's very fun for me mainly because of my partner and the very fantastic team that I have. So
great team.
At the end, it's still the people around, and then we motivate each other, we learn from each other. Then think twice and then enjoy and go for it.
Okay, right.
Great piece of advice. Exactly what Hitler says. Oh, Hitler comes in. You know what Hitler says? He says you must think not twice, 1,000 times before you do anything. That means you must be very sure what you're doing. And then after that, don't let 1,000 obstacles stop you. That's his advice, which is similar to what Sooky just mentioned. Yeah, you have to think thoroughly, make sure you know what you're doing. Then after you launch your project, don't stop even if there are a lot of obstacles. That's good advice.
Right.
How to contact Snowflake?
How to contact Snowflake? You can go to their website, snowflake.com.my.
Snowflake is without the S.
Without the S. And maybe just to end it, maybe Sooky, you can tell us where's your outlet now at the present.
Okay, we have outlet at the Pavilion, and then Cheras Leisure Mall, and then we have Sunway Pyramid, and then also in Kuchai Lama, and then Paradigm Mall, and then lastly is our first shop in Subang SS15.
Right.
Wow,
Great. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the show. We will be back with a brand new story for our Durian Mint story on ASEAN Biz in the next editions. And we'd like to thank Jimmy and Sooky for coming into our studio.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric and Andrew. Thanks for us to have the opportunity to share. Thank you.
Bye for now.